All right, all right. Let's get straight into it. Let's talk about Sargon of Akkad here. There's a lot more that's been happening over the past few days, over the past few hours. I'm seeing stuff from this morning come out from Jordan B. Peterson. I saw that Sam Harris removed his Patreon as a result of this whole Sargon of Akkad thing. A lot of stuff has been happening. Subscribe Star got hit. I just want to talk about a few things here. I didn't want to record it and do stuff like that. I just want to talk about it right here live. And if there's any questions in the chat, I may be able to read it before I'm done. I won't be here long. Give me about 10 to 15 and I'm good. Let's start first with Sargon of Akkad. If you don't know what's going on, if you don't know who this is, Sargon of Akkad is a very popular YouTuber who kind of treads in the whole skeptic world. Some consider him to be alt-right, far-right, a Nazi. I don't think any of that. I think if anything, he's more of a liberal skeptic. That's pretty much where he is. He unfairly gets linked into the whole racist sphere, but a lot of that is his own doing. He'll have talks with these people that are kind of over there, you know, your Richard Spencer types, people like that. And he tries to not be that himself. He tries to be this leftist guy, quote unquote, fighting the alt-right. Sargon of Akkad's problem is that he is always really edgy, using naughty words. Matter of fact, before we even go any further, I was going to play this a little bit later, but I have some video from Sargon, and you're going to see what he says in his own words. Oh, and before I even play the video, just to give you a little bit of information, if you don't know, he got removed from Patreon because he was using the N-word, the F-word, and the K-word, especially one for Jewish people. He said all of that within about a 2-minute span on a live stream. It was not his live stream. It was a stream that he was featured on, and somebody found it, reported it to Patreon, and it took him off the platform. As a result, people are protesting. Like I said, you had Sam Harris. He removed his Patreon account, and Sam Harris is a pretty big guy on there. I'm pretty sure he's probably making 5 figures easy. Dave Rubin's talking about maybe we're going somewhere else. Jordan B. Peterson. A lot of guys are trying to go to other places, Subscribe Star and whatnot. We'll talk about those in a moment, but let's just check out what he says about his own words. So this whole thing about context, we can kind of put to bed right now. Let me get my headphones on.
And I have to say, I really appreciate the kind words from Jordan Peterson, the fact that he's prepared to do something about this. Because I never thought that I would be the martyr, to be honest. I always thought that I'd be the guy who managed to fly under the radar, because I'm not really that controversial. I'm just against political correctness, you know. I just like using naughty words for the shock effect, you know.
Let's hit it one more time.
Political correctness, you know. I just like using naughty words for the shock effect, you know.
One more time, if you didn't hear it, if you're just coming in, I want you to hear what he said. So when he says, oh, well, I got banned off of Patreon because, you know, I was using the words in context. I was trying to fight the alt-right. I was trying to fight for free speech. Let's hear what he says.
I don't go around actually, you know, I just like using naughty words for the shock effect, you know. I don't go around actually attacking, you know, black people or women or whatever it is, you know. But I do like using extreme language for the entertainment value. So I thought that would be...
I like using foul language for the entertainment value. I like using naughty words for the shock value. I didn't say it. He said it. This stream or this video was published on December the 14th. So you're talking about, what was that? Friday. This past Friday. So this is not an old video. I'm not digging up old dirt. This is what he put out. And this is in response to the whole Subscribe Star Patreon thing. I like using naughty words because of the shock value. I like using that kind of stuff because it's edgy, basically. Exactly what I said in the first video. People kind of attacked me, but he said it right here. So this whole thing about trying to fight the alt-right is a bunch of BS. So if you want to see this full video, I'll probably put it in the description box after we're finished here. And I'll put it right here in the chat box so you can see it. So nobody can say, are you taking it out of context? All this, that, and the third. Okay. Now, I see you guys' comments. I do see your comments. Free speech. Let's talk about that right quick before we even get to Subscribe Star and Patreon and why they did what they did. Free speech is a two-way street. We can't say that Sargon can say whatever he wants to say, but nobody else can. Okay? We can say that Sargon was right, he was wrong, or whatever. He can say what he wants to say, but those who don't like what he said also have the right to voice their opinion. Now, you may not agree with it, and that's fine. That's when you get into a debate. That's when you get into, exchanging ideas, exchanging words in a safe way without resorting to violence. That's the way it should be. Patreon has freedom of speech as well. Freedom of speech also may extend to inaction, even if it's not in the terms of service. According to what I know from a Supreme Court ruling, I mean, I know you guys got lawyers out there. If there's any lawyers in the house and if I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comments. But freedom of speech may extend to inaction if that action is an expression of a belief that you have. If that action is a statement, that can also be freedom of speech. So when Patreon says, okay, we don't want you on the platform anymore, what are you going to do? You have a few ways you can go. You could try to attack the freedom of speech thing. But if their action is an expression of their beliefs of the company, that's also freedom of speech. Second, you can get the government involved and force Patreon to serve Sargon of Akkad and everybody else. But now you kind of going on dangerous grounds here. Getting the government involved, once you open that door, they may do a thing that you don't like. They may force you to do something that you don't want to do. If you have a business and you don't want to patronize somebody, you don't want somebody to utilize your services, what if the government says, okay, you must serve that person no matter what? How are you going to feel about that? I want to like it too much. I want to have freedom to do what I want to do. Because you feel like Patreon was wrong, I'm not saying that they're right, but because you feel like they're wrong, you want to get the government involved to force them to serve him. But let's talk about why Patreon did what they did. I'm still on Patreon 100%. Hey, and my Patreon link is in the box if you want to subscribe to me. Here's the thing. If Patreon does not remove Sargon of Akkad, there could be consequences. Subscribestar was the alternate route that Sargon of Akkad went to replace Patreon after he was removed from the platform. Soon thereafter, PayPal removed their ability to pay out on Subscribestar. Okay, because PayPal does not want to be associated with these toxic people. The hit pieces have not come out yet. It's been no hit pieces about Subscribestar and Sargon and all these other people that are kind of alt-right affiliated, although they're not. PayPal can see it coming. They know what's going to happen. It's going to be hit pieces that come out. They're going to say Subscribestar is a place where all these alt-right affiliated, racist, toxic people come to get donations from their neo-Nazi fans. That's not right. It's libelous. It's slanderous for the most part. But that's what's going to happen. And it doesn't even really matter about whether it's right or wrong. PayPal is looking at it from a money point of view. It's like, look, man, this is about money here. We're processing millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars every year. We don't need to have this one guy messing up the money. That's how that is. And Patreon sees it the same way. If Subscribestar got PayPal removed from their particular platform almost instantly, is Patreon immune from that? And a lot of guys depend upon their Patreon. I have a Patreon, but I'm not entirely dependent upon it. Some guys depend upon their Patreon, and the reason why I know that is because although Jordan B. Peterson and Dave Rubin have both expressed disdain for what Patreon did to Sargon, they both still have their Patreon accounts. Matter of fact, I was watching the video this morning. I think it came out yesterday or earlier in the day today. They were talking about how Dave was going to delete his Patreon right when the Sargon of Akkad news broke. But he realized, hey, I got bills. I have employees. I can't do that. Okay. So if he does not delete his Patreon as a result of what happened to Sargon because of money, what is Patreon thinking? If we don't get rid of this guy, he could get us in a situation where we have to be fighting with PayPal to keep them on board. If there's no more PayPal, there may almost be no more Patreon. So all the guys you like out there that have Patreon accounts, they may be toast. Subscribestar is dealing with it right now. I just watched a Tim Pool video, and Tim Pool was saying, well, I don't know how I'm going to get paid. He's over on Subscribestar, and people have donated him money, but they removed the the PayPal option to get a payout. Because if you don't know about Patreon, the way it works is you donate money to a person and it recurs every month. I got one in the box below if you want to check it out. Shameless plug. But it usually will come from a PayPal account. It's seen as pretty safe, pretty easy to use. And the way I get paid is Patreon will automatically deposit the money into my PayPal account. I feel safe. I feel secure. It's easy. No fuss, no muss. Once you remove that option, that creates a lot of problems. Patreon does not want to go out of business. People like Dave Rubin, who are against what happened to Sargon of Akkad vehemently to the point where he's making videos about it, he does not want to lose his Patreon account either, or his PayPal privileges. So it just boils down to money at the end of the day. Now, as far as my personal point of view, I know PayPal is not the only payment system Subscribestar uses, but it's the most popular one. It's the main one. Matter of fact, Tim Pool said that he didn't know how he was going to get paid because he doesn't want to do the bank transaction thing. And I think the only other way would be to get a check in the mail. I mean, I'm not really sure how else you would get paid. Bank transaction, PayPal, maybe through your debit or credit card. I mean, PayPal is probably the safest way because it has all kind of safeguards on it. You know, it's secure, it's safe. You're not just people don't really feel comfortable. Stripe, somebody talking about Stripe. Well, I don't know about Stripe. Stripe may also be an option, but Stripe may go off of Subscribestar as well because they don't want to get involved with that. You know, at the end of the day, it's all about money. Nobody really cares about Sargon of Akkad's political opinion or bad words he was using, but everybody has freedom of speech. They don't want people to come to them with some kind of protest that's going to mess up the money. It's going to screw up the apple cart. It's really simple. If it was up to me, I wouldn't have Sargon of Akkad removed from the website, from Patreon. But if I'm in Patreon shoes and I'm looking at dollar signs and he's costing the platform money or could cost the platform money, he's got to go. It's just simple as that. Freedom of speech, like I said, it works both ways. Sargon has freedom of speech and so does Patreon. And furthermore, I don't want to down the hill of trying to defend Sargon for using language that he used. Sargon knows, like I said in the video earlier, in the little clip I played, just in this video, he knows what he's doing is edgy. He knows what he's doing is going to offend some people. He does it for the shock value. Nobody would be shocked if the words didn't offend certain people, if the words didn't put you in hot water. He walks that line because his subscribers enjoy it. It's really simple. So I can't down that cross. I'm losing some of my subs because some people have removed the Patreon accounts. I understand perfectly within your right to do that. Freedom of speech, like I said. But Sargon is a guy that's causing it. Sargon caused Dave Rubin to lose 600 patrons, which equates to about $5,000 a month. Now he can say it's not really a big deal because he could probably eat it. He probably makes like 20 racks or more on Patreon a month. So to lose 5,000, it's a big percentage, but he's not going to lose his shirt. So he can say that's not really a big deal. But some guys are like, hey, man, you caused me to lose my shirt. I'm missing out on my rent. What's going on? I'm not in that position, but some people are. Like I said, some people depend upon Patreon. I got like Styx Hexenhammer. If he did not have the books, Patreon would be his only way of getting paid because he's not monetized on YouTube. Patreon is where he gets paid, also through direct PayPal donations and from the books he has on Amazon. Patreon is a big chunk of what he makes. If PayPal were to remove themselves from Patreon, it'd be a big hit because he may not really want to do other things as far as bank transfer. And also he is going to lose some people that only feel comfortable donating through PayPal. So, you know, I'm going to read some of these comments here because I think I pretty much laid my case out well, and I don't want to be here too long. I don't want to keep y'all. I'm not going to be silenced. Never had any problem. I'm going to tell you this. I've had PayPal before YouTube existed. I've been getting money on PayPal before YouTube existed. You know, because I got a prior life when I was doing my design stuff back in the day, starting in like 2006. I never had a problem with PayPal ever. and I still have not had a problem, even through all the stuff I've been going through right now, even through all the political stuff. I've never had a problem with PayPal or YouTube or Facebook or Twitter. The only issue that came about with YouTube was because of the whole adpocalypse kerfuffle, which may or may not have been as a result of PewDiePie, and the whole Nazi jokes and stuff like that. The only issue with Patreon has come as a result of Sargon of Akkad causing a ruckus, which has caused some people to delete their accounts. That is the only time I've ever had any problems. Aside from that, I've never had an issue at all. Everything has been fine. I mean, that's unfortunate, Truck, my ad. I don't know, I don't know what happened with that as far as ripping you off, but personally, I never had a problem with them, So I'm gonna read some of the comments and then I'll be out. Thank y'all for joining. This is not going to be a big long stream. I'm just going to be here for a brief period of time. My weekend has been fantastic, or it was fantastic. Sometimes the days run together, but it's been great. Dan Jocelyn says Patreon is the reason Patreon is losing users. It is because they are anti-free speech. I give those users a lot of credit for signing up for their values. I mean, it's great they sign up for their values, and that's fine. I have no problem. But Patreon also has freedom of speech, and those who oppose Sargon also have freedom of speech. I don't agree with those that are talking about he's a racist and stuff like that, but I mean, that's how I feel. They feel how they feel. I can't change anything about how they feel. So that's just what that is. So what are you going to do? You can express your freedom of speech, but to say that others are wrong for expressing their freedom of speech is not really correct. You can disagree with them, but they're not wrong for expressing their freedom of speech. Patreon has freedom of speech as well, in an action which resulted in him not being on the platform anymore. It is what it is. If Sargon didn't break the TOS, I say bring it to court. Other than that, it's hard to really comment on the TOS without being a lawyer that understands these certain things. I'm chucking for liberal patrons. If I was doing that, look, man, if I wanted the liberal money, I would be like D-Ray McKesson from Black Lives Matter with the blue vest on. I'd be that guy. I can make more money, perfectly honest with you, as a liberal. Why would I be trying to chuck for liberal patrons as a conservative, especially a black person? I'm like the thing that they hate the most. Liberals hate me more than a conservative white guy. So that don't even make no sense. I'm just being honest. Is it freedom of speech for PayPal to cut ties on MasterCard? Yes, it is. They have the right to do that. There's no law that says they have to patronize anybody. That's the right to do so. Just like if you want to no longer use a particular company because they do not align with your political beliefs, your personal beliefs, or for whatever reason, they have that same right. I don't agree, but it doesn't matter. They have the same right. We can't say they don't have that right. It is what it is. Hey, man, if they come for me, it is what it is. Like, if I do something that I know is going to get me in trouble, that's my fault. I'm not going to point the finger and blame somebody else. I'm a pretty clean guy, and I do that for a particular reason because I know how to operate. I've been in business for a long time, aside from YouTube, and I know how to operate myself out there in the world. I take them same principles and apply it here, so I don't really have any issues. Hey, man, I appreciate that. American Patriots for God and country. But one thing I'm going to do is always stand on what I say, and I'm not going to point the finger at somebody else. So I'd appreciate it if people, defended me when a thing that happens to me, they see as wrong, but I'm not going to point the finger at somebody else if I do a thing that I chose to do. Bake the cake issue. Now, what's going on with that? Did that actually, it's like a Supreme Court case? And also about the issue about bake the cake, people are saying, well, if you're forced to make a gay wedding cake, then, Sargon should force Patreon to keep him on the platform. I don't think those two things are right. I don't think that forcing somebody to make a gay wedding cake is right, nor do I think that Sargon forcing Patreon to have him on the platform is right either. I think they're both wrong. I think forcing any business to patronize you is wrong. I don't care if it's on racial reasons, religious reasons. I don't care if you have a bar that does not want to have any black patrons. It could be a sign out front that says no black people. I will support that. I will support their right to do that Because what's going to happen, the market is going to say, that's racist, I don't like it, we're not going to go there, and they're going to close down. There's no reason for the government to come in and force them to patronize anybody. It's up to the people that are out there, that are the consumers, that are the business owners. It's up to them to make choices. That's how it's going to be. If you don't have that, the only other way you're going to be able to operate is have the government tell you what to do. At that point, you may have communism. I don't know about you. That's not what I want. I want everything to be free and open, even if I don't agree with it. Even if I say that's racist, I hate it, they have the freedom to do it. You know, it is what it is. Hey, there's free speech is not a crime. You're right about that. That's why he's not in jail. You're right. Freedom of speech is not a crime. First Amendment says you cannot get locked up for unpopular opinion, in so many words. He's not getting locked up. It's just people that are out there are making decisions based upon what he said. And nobody can say that I'm right. I mean, pardon me. Nobody can say that I'm wrong. Nobody can say that I'm wrong about that. Nobody can say that I'm incorrect. You can disagree. I don't agree with what happened to him, but the facts are the facts. And as far as who can say the N-word and who can't, I don't even really care too much about, I'm personally not offended by this kind of language. You know, I don't really care. If he wants to use that, that's his business. But he has to understand that people may not like what he says. Some people, not all people, some people may say, I don't really care. Some may say, congratulations, cheer him on. Some may hate it, but that's all their opinions. And they have the right to feel that way, as do companies. Companies in America have the same rights as regular individuals, aside from the right to vote for the most part. But they can do what they want to do for the most part outside of that. Yeah, I don't really care too much about the language myself, but it's not even about me. Personally, my feelings are irrelevant when it comes to this. When it comes to this, all that really matters is what others think, what businesses think. He was using it against the alt-right at the time. I mean, the context, like I said earlier, do I need to play it back? Ain't no context. He's talking about, I was using it against the alt-right. No, let's play this one more time and then I'll be out.
I'm just against political correctness, I just like using naughty words for the shock effect, I don't go around actually attacking, black people or women or whatever it is, But I do like using extreme language for the entertainment value.
Okay. I like using naughty words for shock value. I like using these words for the entertainment part of it. For entertainment and for shock value. This video was published after the whole thing happened. He said it's in context because he was using it against the alt-right. But then right here, he says, I use naughty words and foul language for the shock value and entertainment. Which one is it? You tell me. I don't really care personally, but like I said, it's not even about me. It's about others. PayPal does not want to be involved with this. He is seen as a toxic person. Somebody's going to cause controversy. News articles are going to come out about this guy. It's going to cause them to lose money. Patreon's the same way. They don't want this bad press on their back. Think about it. A lot of these tech companies are in Silicon Valley. You got a lot of stomp down liberals, furries, all kind of stuff that work at the company. What if they all come to the office and say, you know what? You have all these quote unquote racists on the platform, which I don't think he's a racist, but they do. So if they all come to the office in their furry outfits, 100 deep, with resignation letters and say, hey, if you don't get rid of this guy and others like him, we're going to quit. That's the right to do it. Now, I can disagree, but what is Patreon going to do? Put yourself in their shoes. So he is toxic. Sargon is toxic at this point because he aligns himself with that kind of crowd. It is what it is. Dean Rose says he killed himself like Alex. Yes. He knew that he was on thin ice with these people. Like we all know, we talk about it all the time on this channel and other places, how biased the liberal media are and how biased these liberal tech companies are. We know where they are. We know what they do. We know how they operate. Lawrence Southern was the first warning on Patreon itself. This dude, Jack Conte, went to Dave Rubin talking about, Yeah, she was doing stuff outside the platform, and we don't have that in our TOS as far as off-platform activities, but she had manifest observable behavior, mob. He probably made that up on the Uber ride on the way to Dave Rubin. And everybody took it and accepted it. It was like, okay, cool. Sargon kept his account. Everybody kept their account on Patreon. Now all of a sudden that Sargon gets removed, it's a big problem. Talking about, oh well, it was off platform. Well, so was Lauren Southern. I'm stuttering. She had the same thing happen to her. So how was it different for him than it was for her? You know, it is what it is, man. I think I'm out. I'm talking a little bit too long. I'm starting to stutter and stuff like that. Thank y'all for joining. I really appreciate you. Before I bounce, I read the super chats and then I'm going to be out. Thank you to Misanthropic One who says, holla ABL, dropping off some love for you. Keep being an influencer. Thank you for that. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you to Chuck my ad for the donation. Soul TV84 says, ABL, what up? So you're still on Patreon? Yes, I am on Patreon. And the Patreon information is in the box. Matter of fact, I'm going to put that right here. Hey, man, it's all good. You know, if people want to cancel me on Patreon, if you want to unsubscribe, it happens, man. I don't really get upset. I'm not going to mount a hate campaign against you or nothing like that, man. It's all good. It's okay, man. I'm fine. Thank you for everybody that's here who wants to continue to remain subscribed. It is all love. Let me see. Rod Toll says, YouTuber Law commenting on this. Patreon is well within their rights, but so are we. And boycotting Patreon, you're 100% correct. I agree 1,000%. Thank you for your donation. Chuck my ad also says, bake the cake issue ended that argument. I think I already addressed that. Yeah, we're not going to agree on every topic, man. It's all good. You know, it happens. So thank y'all for joining. I don't know what I'm talking about. I think I do know what I'm talking about. LCID S15. You know, but if anybody has any comments, let me know in the comments below. Send me an email, contact@anthonyblogan.com. Follow me on my Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. What's my Instagram? Instagram is Anthony B. Logan. That is ANTHONY, letter B, LOGAN. My website is Anthony B. Logan, ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Also, Facebook is 1776 Logan. And that's pretty much it. Anybody got any more comments? Let me know in the comments below after this video was done. And that'll be a wrap. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out and peace.